Hi, boys and girls. Today is May 14th, and in your ongoing reading document today, you are going to continue to stop and jot, and you're going to use two charts today to help you, which I included in the lesson plan underneath my example, underneath this video example. So the first chart you've seen before, thought prompts to help us grow complex ideas. So these are different sentence starters that you can use when you are writing about your Just Right book. So you could say things like, could this have anything to do with? I wonder, maybe, remember earlier in the story when? These ideas might go together. The author might be trying to teach us. And that last thought prompt is helping you write about the theme, because the theme is the lesson of the story. It's also what the author is trying to teach you. So another chart that you're going to use today to help you determine if a spot is worth stopping and thinking about is a chart called Clues That Suggest a Passage is Worth Pondering. So pondering means thinking about or wondering. So the first question that you should ask yourself, notice if an image or a word is repeated often, might it be a symbol of something bigger? So thinking about the tiger rising that we read at the beginning of the year, we know that a symbol or something that was repeated a lot in the story was the symbol of the suitcase, how the suitcase symbolized Rob trapping all his feelings inside, keeping all his feelings and thoughts and problems inside and closing it like a suitcase. So the author often said that Rob was like a suitcase. The suitcase symbolizes how Rob traps his feelings inside. The next thought prompt, notice if something catches you by surprise and stands out. Think, why might the author have put in this surprising part? Because we know as readers that the author includes everything for a reason. Nothing is in the book by accident. And then finally, notice if a new insight dawns on a character. So that's when the character realizes something. So my example today is back on page 185, which we already read. So on page 185 is when Lena is asking Maddie about where she came from. And I decided that that was a really important part to stop and think about because it caught me by surprise. I started to think about why the author added this part, and I'm thinking that the author added this part where Lena and Maddie are talking about where Maddie came from because it's teaching us a lot about Maddie. So I am noticing myself new insights on a character, and I'm going to stop and jot about that. So here's what I wrote in my ongoing reading notebook. I'm going to take a picture of this and include it in the lesson plan so you can refer to this along with the charts when you're jotting today. So in your ongoing reading document, you're going to write the date. It's May 14th. I wrote People of Sparks because that's the book I'm writing about. You should write your chapter book title there. And then here's what I wrote. On page 185, I noticed a new insight about a character. I learned that Maddie decided to travel with Casper to get away from her old village. I also learned that Maddie promised to help Casper, so she kept exploring the lands with him even though she wanted to stay in Sparks. So boys and girls, that's the part where I stopped and I started to think, what does this tell me about Maddie? And I used I wonder to write more about this. So here's what I started to add to my stop and jot. I wonder if she also wants to find out if there is a valuable treasure in the city. And then I also used maybe. Maybe she does honor her promises, but deep down, she is curious about the treasure too. So boys and girls, I'm wondering that because we're learning that Maddie is very trustworthy. She does honor her promises. We're also learning that she doesn't really like Casper as a person. And in this conversation between Maddie and Lena, we learn that Maddie wanted to get away from her village because she wanted to find a village that was beginning. And when Lena asked her, well, why didn't you stay in Sparks? Sparks is beginning. Maddie says, well, I promised Casper that I would be his partner, and I honor my promises. So I'm wondering, yes, maybe she does honor her promises, but is she really curious about the city too? So today in your ongoing reading document, you're going to use these charts, which are in the lesson plan, my example, which I'll put in the lesson plan, and you are going to write about parts in the text that stand out to you. A wow moment, like, wow, I'm really thinking a lot about this part, and I can't wait to read them. See you tomorrow.